event. I think we're going to switch. I'll have you guys kind of sit here because I'll grab people to demonstrate out here. So if we can just kind of switch sides momentarily. If you want to sit on the mat or whatever, it's fine. I need a volunteer. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the volunteer. No, you can keep that, but I don't have to. Don't run away with that. So I realize that most of you coach yourself most of the time. The basics. How many people here coach as well? Right. So about half. The basics that you need, they haven't changed. One of the things I've learned is the more complex the skill, the more complex the skill sequence, the more basic the correction tends to be. In gymnastics, there are really only, there are 7 movements that you need to be strong at. Because I feel that strength is one of the most basic things. You need to be strong in order to do it. So there are only 7 movements that you need to have for every gymnastic skill. And it's, let's see if I can get them right. It's pushing, pulling, jumping, hollow, arch, extension, and coming in. All right, so casting and kipping. So those are your 7 movements. If you're looking for things that you need to do, say, okay, I feel that the first thing you're going to check off when you can't do a skill should be the strength aspect of it. When I was working with Rebecca the other day, and we were just trying to do the long hang pullover, it wasn't the strength. You were plenty strong enough, and it wasn't the shape. So we covered those 2 things. Then it got down to the timing of it. So that's really what you're going to do. So we're going to approach basics as, I can't do this skill. What basic am I missing to get that done? The first thing I said is you're going to cover, do I have the strength to do it? Okay? If you have the strength, can I move through the shape that's necessary? If you can move through the shape, then it's going to be the timing aspect. And the timing of it will always be the last thing. With the strength, with the strength that you're going to need, let me back up. When I opened up my Dover gym, I had a big tumbling program in there. And there was a parent that was like, how come my daughter's out there working handstands? Doesn't the coach know she needs her back handspring by Friday? All right? And this is that patience thing, right, Stefan? That patience thing that a lot of gymnasts no. So go back to some of the first things that you learn physically. Crawling to walking. Okay? You first get up and you stand. And you find balance. That requires that you have the strength in your legs, the strength in your glutes, and then you find balance in it. And you do that before you start cruising the furniture. And you cruise the furniture, and then you start taking small steps and falling a lot. And then you start walking. Well, your basic patterns of gymnastics are the same. Okay? Before you should do a back handspring, and I'm just picking a random skill from that gymnast. Before you do that, you should be able to balance upside down before you move through upside down. And I'm not saying that you need to do a 1-minute static handstand without walking, but you should be able to balance for a minute or a second before you jump back and are expected to take pressure on your hands of probably, I think it was 16 to 28 times your body weight. It is being landed on your hands through rotation. So just think about that. Crazy. It is a lot. Look, let's face it, there's nothing we do that's not crazy. Okay? A normal people, I like my butchering of it. Wrong. Yes, a normal person is not going to walk, you watch them walk down the street, they trip and fall, they do a forward roll, we're like, wow, that's a really good forward roll. And they're like, I almost died. So there's nothing that we do that's normal. So let's take the strength, some basic strength, and then work some shapes. If we're just not even in a hollow, but if you want to do a front flip, you need to be able to hold this shape without your hands. The scariest things that I have seen are people that don't have the core muscles, the ab muscles, to hold themselves in this shape. Then try to do a front tuck and it comes off. Right? You see that every day at the town swimming pool, or kid tries to do a front tuck, and you see this, and they're now flipping like that. That might be okay if you're going into the water. It might be okay going into the pit. That's not going to work while landing. Right? So we have to get that. So your first basic is going to be holding this shape. So my lovely volunteer, just sit there and hold this. You can physically hold it. All right. Like you're doing a front tuck. Yeah. So if you're doing a front tuck, you're going to grab here. Okay. And then, have somebody try to pull you open. Okay. That would be the most basic thing. Now you're like, well, I don't have that ability. I'm working out by myself. I don't like the other people I work with. Hold the same shape. Okay. So here, you put your feet up on a block. Okay. So just picture that my knee is a mat. Now what I want you to do is try to push down against me. Yeah, you feel that. Now lift your shoulders up at the same time. Okay. You feel that action. Okay. So everybody just get a partner and just try to do that. You guys that are in the back, like put your feet up on a mat. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you record something? Just start.
Do I need to be careful? No.
Oh, no, I have to try to pull.
Okay. Just feel that shape. Yeah. You can rock them, but more try to lift her up. Yeah.
Strong, so if it comes up.
Yeah. Good. All right, so let's head back. All right.
Spatial awareness.
Lying back. Okay. The next part is to make sure that you're going to do your front tuck in a way that you're not going to break your nose. All right? And I always say, when you tuck, you must have space for your face. All right? No. Okay. So make your feet and your knees and your shoulders parallel. Okay? So if she does a bad one, let's say it's actually a really good front tuck, and she over rotates. Okay? Her feet hit, she has space for her face, and she may roll out. All right? That's what you want. If she's in here, she's going to break her nose, fracture her eye socket, and then take it flat on the top of her head. Okay? Yeah. Black and blue are good colors.
The top will be so pretty.
Yeah. So make sure that you understand that shape. And I know you're going, oh, we can already do that. That's easy. This is something that you need to do every day. Okay? So your everyday warm-up is going to be, I would sit, hold your shins, and just rock. All right? And just rock. That's all. If you can rock 3 times and try to stand up from there, that's great. But make sure your body understands those shapes. Next thing is obviously, you just go back. I'll call you in. Okay. The next thing that you're going to need is just plain forward rolls. Okay? You need to do forward rolls every day. Before you can front tuck, you need to do a forward roll. Before you can back tuck, you should be able to do a backward roll. I add to that, in that when we do forward rolls, we have different kinds of forward rolls. This, with our knees apart, and you're in that shape, and we hold on here, okay? I call these tumbling forward rolls, okay? You hold your shins, okay? You tuck in, and you roll, and you stand back up in this same shape, a tumbling forward roll. This way. Okay, so bend over, grab your shins. All right, so make sure your face goes right into here. Never open this up. It's just going to roll right forwards all the way over. Okay? Good. That's exactly what you want. If she can do this, I know she's going to be okay holding her shape in a front tuck. Okay? You might as well not move too far. Moving from there, hey, people pay hundreds of dollars for me to teach them forward rolls. Pike forward rolls, straddle forward rolls, lunge forward rolls on each foot. You are going to need every one of those shapes. All right? You can't do a front hip circle without being able to do a pike forward roll, going down and up on straight legs. Okay? You have to have that compression. You can't do, if you don't understand a pike forward roll or a forward roll that goes up to handstand, you'll never make a front giant.
What's a lunge forward roll?
Lunge.
Just lunge into the roll?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. But you need to lunge on each foot because take a cartwheel. All right. When you do a cartwheel, you're starting on your dominant side, but you're finishing on your non-dominant side. Mm-hmm. So if you don't know how to work in and out of a lunge on both legs, you're going to be uncomfortable landing on your non-dominant side. So for your lunge forward rolls, what I tell people is start in a lunge and then drag to a pike. Okay? So they're starting in a lunge and they're in here, hips are square. That group that we had that we were tumbling, you know, all your eyes are forwards. Your hands are down, then drag and bring your feet together. And then you do the same thing. Wow, I see stars. That's, man, 50 sucks.
I do too.
Yeah. So then you have to do the same thing on your non-dominant side. All right, so you do it on your left side, you do it on your right side. Every cartwheel you do lands on your non-dominant side. Okay? When you're doing a round-up, what foot's driving around first? That non-dominant foot. You need to know what it feels like. The better you get at understanding what that lunge feels like, and lunge pulling your feet together, even in a forward roll, the better your round-off gets. It's not that far of a stretch. Once you've done your forward rolls and you've mastered them here, do them off of a higher surface, off of a block like Dom's on, or panel mats. If you could roll right off of just a folded up wedge mat, you roll off that forward roll off that wedge mat and know how to land. You now know how to land a front tuck. Okay? If your goal is to go front tuck, well then you do forward roll rebound. Forward roll rebound, front tuck, forward roll, front tuck. But it all starts with that forward roll. So instead of just blindly chucking it first, okay, take your mats and bring them up high enough for you to do. So just starting with forward rolls. Now obviously we want to do the same thing backwards. If you can't do a backward roll, you probably have no right to do a back tuck anyway. Okay? The scariest backward rolls I see are
Would you
the
mind
kids
holding
or
this for a little
adults
while?
that roll and they can't hold their body in a tuck. They get upside down and their feet kick upside down. Okay? If they're doing that in a backward roll, guess what's happening when they're trying to do a back tuck? Exactly the same. If they can't backward roll on floor, they're not going to be able to do a back hip circle around bars. So if in the perfect world, in my team training, after we did our warm-up and conditioning, we would do about a half an hour, 45 minutes of basic tumbling. In that half an hour, 45 minutes, I could easily spend 10 minutes on rolls. Because the better I get their rolls, if I can have somebody that can do a very good backward roll stand, and is consistent with that, using their abs, is in good shape, when it's time for them to double back, their body knows how to do it. So I know it's a big jump, and not all of you are working double backs, but just take it and get out of it what you want. The backward rolls are so important for that. Does anybody have fear of backward skills? Okay? You have to do more backward rolls. Start with the small things you control. Okay? Going backwards, flipping backwards, although it is mechanically less complex, it's scary as hell. You go up and flip over backwards and hope to land on your feet. You have that blind spot right in the beginning. The more backward rolls you do off of height is going to help you. So sticking with the backward rolls. Could we grab, I need the, let me just do this. I'll just use this one again. Dom, I'm going to steal your block. This would not be my chosen mat to use, but it's the closest. I would pick something that's more symmetrical. Stay here. Okay. You're going to just jump up and sit down. Go jump up, sit down, and down the roll. So you're, just because this is small, your body's barely going to touch this edge. Yeah, it'll just barely. Okay. The more you do that, now she's getting used to understanding a back flip. Those of you that coach, once your kid can backward roll, have them do this, and they're working back flips, and they start to understand it. You can make this bigger and bigger and bigger. You make the mat bigger. I'm gonna slow you down. You're gonna jump up and kind of fall back a little bit more. You're almost gonna land on your back. Do the same thing you just did. Do the same thing you just did. Okay, so you're adding speed. It was hard for me to explain, so I just chucked her at the mat. But now go up and remember how we did the backdrop on trampoline. Do you think of doing that here? Yeah, you just kind of jump and land on your back. This is soft enough. It's probably only going to hurt a little bit. Okay, so you're doing that over and over again, and you vary your shape. Lie on your back here. And do a candlestick. So if she can jump and get to this shape, so she's jumping and getting to this candle shape. Now pike roll off backwards. Right? Now she's understanding how to elevate her hips. I was talking to Stefan. Your hips are going to direct your trajectory. Okay? All of gymnastics is like letting go, it is a bow and arrow. Okay? Once you let go, it's going in that direction. You cannot change it. This is true here. Those of you that are crooked on skills, take it back to where, take it back to the beginning where you're taking off. That's where you're crooked. As a general rule, and this is aside, the perceived error is usually caused by something about 180 degrees before that. Okay? The simplest place to picture that is on bars, on a giant swing, because it is very easy to see the 360. You see somebody at the top of the bar in a big arch. You can yell at them all you want for them to get hollow, and it's not going to make a bit of difference, because what you're coaching is that this happened at the end. The problem was was 180 degrees from there at the beginning, okay, or halfway through the giant. Picture a skill that you're struggling with. My front handspring, my feet are too far in front of me. I'm trying to go front handspring front, and my feet are too far in front of me. Okay? Well, you can tell yourself, well, I need to arch more. I need to do these other things. But really the problem is you need to stretch the first part of your front handspring further. Okay? Your front handspring is going to take up 10 feet. I'm just pulling a number out. If it's going to take up 10 feet, it's going to be 5 and 5. What's happening is you're doing 3 and 7. Okay? So you can tell yourself, I need to do this, I need to do this, but really it's that first part that needs to stretch out further. Okay? So when you feel a mistake, realize where the problem, I'm really arched. That's great, but that's not what you need to fix. You need to fix something that caused you to arch. So kind of understand that concept. So backward rolls off of height. Come back up. You just sit. You can pretend she's jumping and all that. Do your backward roll, and when you land, jump quarter turn. Just quarter. Yep, just quarter turn. Backward roll, jump quarter turn. Okay. Again. Is this okay, because I know it's not. That's fine. Okay. Now do a backward roll with a quarter turn. So right before your feet touch, you're going to turn and face me. Okay? Simplest way to learn how to twist. Okay? She's learning that it happens, that the flip happens first. It's always rotation before revolution. And it's just in a backward roll. So you might say, hey, I can do my back tuck. Someday I'm going to want to learn how to, someday I'm going to have a layout. Someday I'm going to learn how to twist. Backward roll turns. The same thing forwards. Forwards landings, those are notoriously crazy on your knees. So make sure that you can do a forward roll quarter, forward roll jump half. With twisting, how many people want to hear me talk about twisting even for a moment? Okay. I teach twisting in quarter increments. Right? We don't land quarter turn except really on trampoline. Everywhere else it would be a little dangerous. But my thing is, if I'm trying to do a full twist, and I'm a lefty, so my first turn is towards you. I'm going to turn here, right? Here, and it's 3/4, I better know where the landing is. If all I've done is halves, I'm here, now I'm shooting, trying to do a Stevie Wonder, trying to figure out where the landing is on this. And we've all seen people do the Stevie Wonder. They're in the air, they're doing this, trying to figure it out. Okay, so quarter turns. If you know where quarter turns, and it doesn't matter if it's a handspring full vault, okay, if you're doing a half on, 3/4 off, any of that, learn where quarter twist is. So we'll go, just stand here. Okay, so Mary does her backward roll and lands with a quarter. After that, she goes jump quarter turn, okay, jump quarter turn, jump quarter turn. So her arms finish, okay? And we would do the same thing forward. We're always going to do enough jumps to make it a full, but we'll start with just a quarter turn. Forward or backward roll off, jump quarter, 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 backward roll with a quarter, jump the rest of the way around, okay? But quarter turns. People that I see going really crooked in their twist, most of the time it's because you're starting your twist too early before you've lost contact with the floor. Assuming that a cat always lands on its feet, okay? That's because when a cat is in the air, its lower body and upper body are turning in opposite directions, okay? So whatever side hits the ground first, the other side snaps straight. So a cat can't twist. A cat turns in two different directions, one hit, and it turns. If you're trying to twist, you have to make sure everything's going in the right direction. If you're turning your center, your body doesn't twist. You can only twist by doing the ends, and that would be your feet or your shoulders. That's kind of a deep thing, but we get that? Yeah. All right. So you understand the importance of rolls. Don't ignore straddle rolls. All right? Forward and backward straddle rolls. You see, if you want to ever do a stalder or even a soul circle dismount off bars or maybe even a toe front, if you're not doing a straddle roll, you don't know how to hold your shape. So straddle forward rolls, straddle backward rolls. The next part is I could do a lecture, I could do an hour lecture on handstands by itself. The handstand, it is the symbol of our sport. Okay? If you don't have if you don't have a straight body handstand, you're going to struggle with a lot of tricks because we spend so much time upside down. I'll hit, there was somebody who said the other day that they had trouble, they couldn't hold a good handstand. I was like, I'm sorry.
Said that in the past.
Yeah, but you have to understand what it feels like upside down. And we've had kids who have kicked upside down and just got lost. I had a parent that came in, stop recording for a second, James.